Hey there everyone, it's Huber again with another Windows Application Volume Control Project video. Uh, this is a Behringer X-Touch Mini rather than a Korg nanoKONTROL2 like I showed in the last video. And similarly, this is not the same software that I'm going to be showing. This is a complete rewrite called NK2 Tray. As you can see, I started it up and things lit up. So it's essentially a complete rewrite of the old version, which was written in AutoHotkey, which is very hard to maintain and a little bit hacky, but incredibly powerful, especially for prototyping and automation. But this is hopefully going to be a little bit easier to maintain. So it's a similar idea, but you can use the tray now to assign things. So let's go ahead and assign our music to the fader 7. It's actually 8 if you look at this. I need to make that it's 0 seated in the menu and starts with 1 on the device. So I'll change that to be more human usable later. But the idea is the same as the last product or the last tool. For anyone who didn't see that or doesn't remember, it's the same idea. You can control with this knob right here the session that you've bound to it. So I bound that with the tray. I can unbind it by just pressing this button, and I can rebind it to any of these by just making sure that application is in the foreground and pressing on a knob, and now I can control it with that one. So it's really nice for quickly switching things up on the fly to meet your needs. So the idea here, the most common use case in my mind, is someone's playing a game, an amazing game like Cat Mario here, and they want to have music in the background and maybe voice chat, something like that. This enables you to, very easily say, mute your music or pause your music, which of course Google Play Music doesn't respond to the media buttons all the time. I promise it works in Spotify and in other things, but I'm just using that for an example today. And so, you can decide that you, in fact, do want to hear Cat Mario. So let's bring that to the foreground and bind it to this fader here, and we can bring that up. There we go. And now one of the most common problems with the prior tool is that you'll notice Discord has 2 sessions here. This one right here is an audio session for the sound effects. If you're, joining and leaving channels, it'll make sounds there if I'm not in streamer mode, of course. This is the session where people's voices actually come through. And what was happening is people would bind to this window by, the usual approach here. And the problem is that doing that, this window is connected to this session essentially. And so the one that actually has the voices wouldn't change. So as a workaround for this version, because it's a lot more maintainable and extensible, for starters, I'm just making it control both of these sessions. So at the very least, when in doubt, if you assign something to an application, it will control all of the sessions together. And later on, I can figure out a good way to split these apart in case someone really wants to control them separately on their MIDI device. Of course, the master fader here should control master volume. And it does by default. It's actually rebindable. You can make it whatever you want here. So we could control the master volume on another one of these. And there's a lot more that I plan to add to this tool. For instance, I don't have any of the volume meters that I had in the old version. I'm working on adding those back slowly, but I've been a little bit distracted by doing multiple device support here, thanks to some generous helpers who've been testing early on for me. Speaking of which, this is a Discord server for this project. And of course, there's the GitHub project itself. It's called NK2 Tray. I'll make sure there's a link below. You can get involved, even if you're not a programmer. Just show up in Discord and make some feature suggestions, or let me know how the testing's going, or just head on over to GitHub and open issues to say, hey, I found a bug, or hey, I've got an idea for an enhancement. And I'd be happy to work on this. And if you are a programmer, or if you're interested in being a programmer, we could really use the help actually developing this tool and helping to support additional hardware. There are a bunch of very similar like $50 to $70 range MIDI controllers that would work very well for this kind of tool, as well as some much fancier ones that have motorized faders and actual volume meters per channel on them, and even LCD scribble strips, little LCD screens saying what each channel is. That would be a lot of fun to support here, but first we have to get it sort of bulletproof and feature complete for the other devices. So there's a long road map here. I've made a little development project just so people can see what's being worked on today. I'm not really working on anything. I could consider this a basic operation video, but I want to make something that's actually, a little bit more documentation. But anyway, that's the general idea. I'll show it off a little bit more. Mute buttons do, of course, work. I'm using this as the mute and select buttons for the master channel for now. Play and next for Google Play all work for whatever devices. So it's pretty much business as usual, the same deal as before. I'm sure we'll come up with better uses for some of this stuff. And one of the biggest things that I've added to this, actually, that I'm excited about right now, if you hit the record button on the Behringer or on the nanoKONTROL, if that's what's plugged in, it will it'll simulate a crash rather, so that way we can actually see this is spitting out a slightly useful error message for once, and then the whole thing goes dark to let you know that it's actually errored out, and you should hopefully be able to reopen this and things will come back to life, and it saves your state just like it did in the old version. It's all saved in a somewhat human readable config file using the actual under the hood session names for each of these. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. I hope to have more to show you later, but do let me know if you have questions. Come join us on Discord, and I'm really excited to actually see what we can build here. Thanks for coming by.